So for today, our discussion is about the protective measures required by the annexes. So it is our last topic for our midterm. So for the module and for the learning objectives, protective measures required by the annexes. So first, Annex 1. So for Annex 1, control of discharge of oil. So discharge outside special areas, vessel en route, meaning the vessel is on the way. Oil filtration equipment is type approved by the regulation. Effluent shall not be more than 15 parts per million, shall not come from cargo pump on oil tankers, and shall not be mixed with oil cargo oil residue. So first, vessel is en route. The ship must be moving. The ship can only discharge oil when it's sailing, not when it's stopped at port or at anchored. So ayun yung sinasabi na vessel en route, and oil filtration equipment is type approved by the regulation. Meaning that the ship needs to have a special equipment that filters the water before it's released into the sea. So ensuring only a small amount of oil remains. And when we said effluent shall not be more than 15 parts per million, the filtered water can have no more than 15 parts per million parts of water. So a very small amount or quantity. So shall not come from cargo pump room on oil tankers. So meaning no discharge from cargo pump room on oil tankers for oil tankers that the water comes from areas where the oil is pumped. The cargo pump room shall not be discharged. And for the last one, no mixing with cargo oil. So water mixed with cargo oil, the oil being transported cannot be discharged into the sea because uh, it is contaminated by oil. So meron siya ng halo ng oil. So kung or magdi-discharge ka into the sea, tendency mapupunta siya sa ating ocean, no? So next, control of discharge of oil. So when discharging in a special or inside the special area shall not comply with the regulations stated above, and no discharge of oil in the Antarctic. So alam naman natin na kahit hindi sa Antarctic, bawal tayo mag-discharge ng oil. Dapat magdi-discharge lang tayo sa port facility. Ibig sabihin, when we arrive at port, doon lang natin i-discharge yung oil. Meaning, hindi mismo sa dagat, kundi naka-gallon siya or naka-drum yung oil na i-discharge natin. And i-discharge natin siya mismo doon sa may port. And segregation of oil and water ballast. So, four peak tanks, meaning ng four peak tanks, it is on the forward peak tank. Yung forward part na tangke. No? Ships delivered after December 31, 1979, no ballast tank shall be carried out on the fuel tank. And if they need to carry large quantities of oil shall be stored in the ballast tank, it shall be discharged to shore facilities, as I've said. Discharge to the sea complies with the MARPOL regulation. So ships 400 gross tonnage and above, which is the size of the ship we are referring to, with a built-in contract of January 1st, 1982, shall not be carried in the forepeak tank or collision bulkhead. So all ships shall comply to the provisions. So ano mga ba yung ballast tanks na tinatawag natin? And why ballast tanks taken in the tank? So ba't natin kailangan yung ballast tank? So let's assume that the vessel does not have a ballast system. So in such cases, the following conditions may arise, no? So ano nga ba ang ballast tank? Ballast tank is a compartment within a ship sa loob ng vessel that holds water. Ships use these ballast tanks to take or release water. So that's why we call it ballast, no? Kasi nagre-release and also nagte-take tayo. So ballast tank to help maintain stability of the vessel. And proper draft, yung draft yung pinaka line natin sa ilalim sa may bandang keel, no? And The depth of the ship sits on the water, that is the drop. When a ship is not carrying cargo or needs to adjust the weight, it can fill the ballast tank with the water steady in the water. So when a ship is loaded with cargo or needs to reduce the weight, it can pump out the water. So for example, no, ang vessel nyo ay wala namang kargada but you're going to cross through the Atlantic. And alam naman natin kapag walang laman yung barko, mas magalaw siya. So in order for a vessel to stand on the high seas pag magko-cross ng Atlantic, kailangan natin maglagay ng or fill in ng water sa loob ng ballast tank. So doon natin ginagamit yung ballast tank. And also, ginagamit natin yung ballast tank para sa trim and stability. Siyempre, hindi naman porket meron tayong cargo hold, pantay-pantay yung port and starboard side na paglalagyan natin ng kargamento or ng cargoes. So the ship may have 8 list, no, and may have also a trim. So as the cargo capacity of the ship is fully rich, so we can use the ballast tank para equal yung port and starboard side ng vessel natin. So the shear and torsion loads of the vessel may increase on the stresses. Pwede magka-stress yung vessel. So leading to the stresses on the ship structure and bending moments and slamming of the vessel. So para maiwasan yun, we are using also the ballast tank. And the vessel may face issues on the transverse. Pag sinabing transverse, yung pinaka vertical niya, pinaka-side yung pinaka-palapad. Then pag sinabi natin longitudinal yung paharap. So pag sinabing transverse from port and starboard side, then for the longitudinal from forward part into the aft part of the vessel. So para ma-maintain natin yung stability ng vessel, yung trim niya, we are going to use ballast tank. So that is the purpose of ballast tank. Kaya mahalaga siya sa pagdating sa loading and discharging operation. Kasi kapag hindi pantay yung kargamento para or kung wala man tayong ilo-load, may tendency na magkaroon ng trim or hindi magpantay yung barko natin, and we use this one to balance our vessel para kapag tayo ay en route na or sailing yung vessel natin ay balance. So that is the purpose of the ballast tank. And we have also the segregated ballast tank. So its main concerns is to the construction of product of crude oil tankers. So segregated ballast tanks, it qualification a tanker to have a segregated ballast tank and protective locations of the segregated ballast tank. So ano ba ang segregated ballast tanks? So as you can see on the features, no, meron tayong oil tanker. For example, it is a cargo hold of the oil tanker. Meron tayong center cut view and the double hull. So for the segregated ballast tanks, there are dedicated tanks constructed to the sole purpose of carrying an oil tanker ship. So they are completely separated from cargo and fuel tanks, and only ballast tanks pumps are used in the segregated ballast tanks. So ginagamit natin siya to balance the also for the balance the cargo. So tanks avoid any changes of mixing of oil, and also in which water usually happens when cargo holds are used to carry ballast water. And also segregated ballast tanks these are special ballast tank on a ship that are only used for holding the water or the ballast to help balance the ship. So these tanks are separated from parts of the ship where oil or cargo is stored. Nakahiwalay po siya. So this is important because it ensures that the water in the ballast tanks never get mixed to the oil or other cargo. No? Kaya from the word itself, segregated. So when the ship releases the water back into the sea, it won't cause pollution since it's just clean. This is especially important for all tankers to help protect the oceans from oil spill. So that is the purpose of our segregated ballast tanks. So with regards sa regulation natin, need of the SBT, no? SBT na lang para mas mabilis. Crude carriers of 20,000 tons deadweight and above, product carriers of 30,000 tons deadweight, no? So capacity of SBTs to be operate ballast tanks without having the cargo tanks of the water. So weather conditions are so severe that can additional water ballast is required to carry out oil tanks. So in addition, circumstances account particular to the nature of the operation. Long story short, we use this segregated ballast tank kapag maglalagay tayo dyan sa loob ng cargo hold in order to balance when it comes to uh, cargo in which nag-load tayo. Kumbaga hindi naman tayo sure kung yung ilo-load natin sa vessel natin ay the same amount port and starboard side yung malalagay natin. Hindi natin yan makakalculate agad, lalong-lalo na kung hindi magbibigay kaagad yung port facility ng information. Yung iba kasi right away doon lang nila ibibigay. And tendency, hindi tayo aware kung saan natin ikakalculate kaagad. So we use this segregated ballast tank to balance our cargo when we are going to transit through the for example, kung nagkaroon ng loading operation or discharging operation. And also additional ballast. So for example, no, kung makikita niyo diyan sa features, meron tayong cargo hold A, B, and C. So for additional ballast may be carried into the cargo holds under the following circumstances: for close-up inspection and hull gauging using rafts. So for tank that have a hydrostatic pressure test, so it will carry for the shall to comply conditions such as ballast is discharged according to the criteria of the tanks stated in the Regulation 34. So appropriate entry is made in part 2 of the Oil Record Book, ORB, when the ballast is discharged, and crude oil tankers cargo should be ballast or crude oil wash as prescribed in the Regulation 35 before departure from the unloading port. So again, the purpose of this is to define as in which we are completely separated from cargo oil and fuel oil. So this system in which permanently allocated to the carriage of ballast, they are also severed by the use of own pumps and piping adequate for their purpose. So kung meron tayong segregated ballast tanks, meron din tayong double hull and double bottom requirements. Pag sinabi nating double hull, ayan yung ayan no, tingnan nyo sa picture. Sa picture. Pag sinabing double hull, yung pinaka pader niya, doble. Pag sinabi naman double bottom, yung pinakailalim niya, doble. So before, yung mga construction na vessel, hindi double hull yung mga kinoconstruct na vessel. So again, it applies to the tankers delivered during July 6, 1996. So it composes the design and the constructions of double hull. So doon na implement or doon na simula yung ating double hull requirement. So concerning with the compliance of the regulation, so for example, no, meron na tayong double hull, meron pa tayong double bottom. So ganon ka-safe just in case magkaroon tayo ng collision. Hindi kaagad magi-spill or itatapon yung ating kargamento just in case kung we're carrying about a tanker, if our vessel is carrying a crude oil, no, yung mga fuel oil, hindi kaagad siya magi-spill sa dagat, no? Kasi double hull and double bottom yung ating sa double bottom naman kung sasadsad yung barko natin or magra-ground yung vessel natin. So the purpose of this double hull and double bottom, when the double hull ability to prevent reduced oil spill that led to the being standardized for other types of ships, including oil tankers, and also after the Exxon Valdez, in which I've told you before na kaya nagsimula yung MARPOL because of the tragedy or the incident of the Exxon Valdez. Oil spill convention required a new oil tankers built between the U.S. ports should have a full double hull. So, kaya ni-require na nila na dapat lahat ng vessel na mag-transport in the U.S. Ports or U.S. coast, dapat naka-double hull yung kanilang vessel. So, under Regulation 22 Pump Room Bottom Protection, so for the ships 5,000 gross tonnage or bigger, built after January 1, 2007. These rules are for large ships in which 5,000 GRT or more that were built after this date. So pump rooms must have a double bottom. The pump room where the liquids are moved in or out should have two layers at the bottom for the extra safety. This layer helps protect the ships where the leak or damage, no? Sabi nga natin, para just in case magkaroon ng oil spill, hindi kagad siya mag-spill sa dagat. Doon muna siya sa another structure ng vessel. So, pump room location, minimum height. The pump room should be placed at the safe height inside the ship to protect it from flooding or other risks. And enough suction from the double bottom tanks. The pumps must have or must be able to take in suction water or cargo from the double bottom tanks properly and ensuring they work efficiently. And pump room conditions during flooding. If the pump room gets flooded, the design should make sure that the crew and the ship stay safe as possible. So this includes having safety systems in place to handle flooding situation. And under Regulation 24, damage assumption. So for our damage assumption naman, no, first we have how oil is in the tanks. So first you should look at how much the oil tanker is carrying in these tanks. So this helps to figure out how much oil could spill if the ship is damaged. Then second, types of damage to the ship. So next, you assume that the kind of the damage could happen to the ship. This could be from an accident like hitting something or grounding or crashing into another ship or collision. So the amount of oil spill depends on how badly the ship is damaged. And from the third, where the ship or where the damage happens. No? If she is damaged near the tank holding oil or oil could be leaked, or for some calculation, assume it is a certain size of the hole or crack in the ship hull, estimate and how much oil could escape through the water. No? And for the last one, and safety design helps reduce oil spill. So ships are designed in which special features like double hulls or segregated ballast tanks to help to reduce the amount of oil that could leak. And even if there is a damage, this could means that the actual oil outflow could be smaller than the worst case scenario. So by using these ideas, the hypothetical oil outflow gives the estimate on how much oil might spill in the particular accident, in which can helps the planning for the safety and environmental protection. So it's almost the same, no? So how to monitor oil discharge and control. So in all tankers, so in monitoring system required, all oil tankers 150 gross tonnage or larger must have a system to monitor and control oil discharges. So data recording. Next, data recording. This system must record important discharge data in which you should be stored at least 3 years, and also it must be easy access para mas madali nyo makita. Standard compliance. Third, the system must meet specific design and safety standards to ensure effective monitoring. And for the last one, proper operation. So crew members must operate the system according to the established guidelines to prevent oil pollution. So to summarize, no, this Regulation 31, it ensures oil tankers have the tools and procedures to safely monitor and control oil discharge, protecting the ocean from the pollution. So again, that is the yung napapaloob sa Regulation 31. So again, before we continue our discussion, you can take a health break, no? And sa mga gusto mag-breakfast muna, and we're going to continue after 10 to 15 minutes. Okay?